Yeah, it's regarding. I think that I have an explanation of the Mount of Transfiguration in the Gospels. Atheists like to believe that that was just put in there to explain how Christ blew it by believing that the second coming, his second coming, would come in the lifetimes of some of the apostles, because it says in the Gospels, "There's some of you standing here who will not taste of death until you see the Son of Man coming with power and glory." It goes something like that, and which means that most of the apostles standing around Jesus died before the Mount of Transfiguration, if that's what Jesus was talking about. Or most of the apostles died before the second coming. I mean, some of them are still alive. Yeah. But this is a theory I have. There's two theories. One is, when he said, "There's some of you standing here will not taste of death till you see the Son of Man coming with power and glory," it goes something like that. He meant some of you standing here won't eat until you see the Son of Man coming with power and glory, something like that. And since when you eat something, it's dead. Or it could have been that Jesus killed, or had, or most of the apostles died before Jesus was transfigured on the the Mount of Transfiguration. Most of them died. Probably Jesus killed them. You see, and then he took. If you read the Gospels, it sounds like all the apostles didn't go up there. Only a few of them went up there. So what happened to the others? Yeah, that's because most of them were dead. And so they went up to the Mount of Transfiguration. They were probably killed as well. But then Jesus brought them back. And they didn't talk about it because they're probably in soul sleep. Like Lazarus. Lazarus never said, "Oh, guess what I was doing, blah, blah, blah." You know? In other words, but Jesus said he's not dead, he's sleeping. Well, it's probably the same sort of thing. But he really meant death. Because, Lazarus is starting to stink. So, I'm thinking that explanation for "there's some of you who will not taste of death until you see the Son of Man coming with I think power and glory," I think that's what he says, is that most of the apostles died before the Mount of Transfiguration, and then the others that saw it, then they died, but then Jesus revived all of them. Yeah. That's what I think. And they have no memory of it because they were dead. And then, they're alive again. So I think that explains it. Of course, if you want to be an atheist, say, "See, they're trying to cover for Jesus blowing it by having the Mount of Transfiguration." There, will go ahead. Bye.